You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
I wanted to just talk about real fast the dill analyzer. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. If you come to the boot camp, you get the dill analyzer for free. Okay, so I sell the dill analyzer for $500. All right, but you get that as a bonus for coming to the boot camp. Because the reason why is because you need the dill analyzer in the boot camp. Right? Because we're going to go over the dill analyzer. So you'll be able to have hands-on experience on really how to use that dill analyzer as well too. And you get the course included with it, but you'll get that hands-on experience. Okay. So now on the dill analyzer, I just want to make sure that everybody knows with dill analysis what you need to be looking for, because really a lot of people have this kind of fear of I just really don't know if it's a good deal or not. Now you guys are going out and looking at property. You'd see all the property on Crexy. You'd see facilities coming up for sale on LoopNet. Me personally, I teach going directly to the owner. That's my one thing that I teach. We do use Crexy. We use Crexy in a different way. And the really cool thing is that we have Crexy. Crexy and I have a very good relationship, a very special relationship. And I have Grant, who is my Crexy, go-to person at Crexy. He is going to come and do a demo of how we use Crexy in the next couple of weeks, by the end of the month, one of the Wednesdays on the end of the month. Okay. I can't remember because my schedule gets all full, but so make sure you come to the Wednesday sessions for that, because he's going to show everybody how to use Crexy, not as a person to buy storage, but also as a person, as an investor. All right, which is really cool, which is how we do it. And I teach this also in the boot camp as well. But so you're going out to LoopNet, you're going to Crexy, and you're looking, you're man, these prices are way too high. I could just tell they're too high, and the cap rates are too high or too low, not too high. But okay, so now how do I know how to put an offer in on these deals? And you never ever want to trust what any realtor says or broker says. You want to run your own numbers, right? And but we go directly to the owners, and the owners also give their information, and then we just plug it right into the dill analyzer. When you're doing dill analysis on a storage facility, there's only really a couple of things that you need. Everybody's always oh, I didn't get the financials, I didn't get the P&L and the balance sheet and all this stuff. The truth of the matter is that you don't really honestly need all that. Now, it's great to have all that and to look at it and to see, but what you want to do when you run dill analysis is there's 3 different ways that you look at a storage facility. Okay. On the dill analyzer, we call it the current valuation. And we go over what we call potential valuation. And then, excuse me, we do the opportunity. Okay, we call this after updates. It's on after updates is what we call it, but it's really opportunity. Potential for us, because we buy severely mismanaged facilities. All right. We buy severely mismanaged facilities so potential for us is taking a property from 25% or 50% full to 80% or 90% full. That for us is potential. So that really potential is physical occupancy versus economic occupancy. All right. Increasing the occupancy and increasing the amount of money that people are actually paying you. Okay. So, for instance, like we were looking at one of our properties today and like full, like it's full, right? That's physical occupancy. But we had like 10 people that were late. All right. We had a whole bunch of like a list of partial payments, like people that were like behind. This is what happens during Christmas. I'm gonna be totally honest with you, but like for the months of like November from like Thanksgiving until now, like people either can't make full payments on their units or they or they don't pay at all. All right. And so during the holidays, what we do internally is we like do partial payments. We try to help people, because it's days, right? Um, so I was looking at one of our properties. I was like, man, there's a lot of partial payments here. And we looked at one tenant, and it was like they owed like maybe $400. I think their unit was like maybe $125 a month or something. So they were behind a couple months. You could see they're by like November until now they were behind, and they made like $100 payment on the like in November. They couldn't make the full amount. And then they made like $150 payment last month, and then they've just made another like $150 payment, which still puts them behind because they are racking up all of the late fees as well too for us. And so we don't take those late fees off. Like we're saying, look, like you're late. So you still have to pay the late fees. And our late fees equal to like almost 1 month's of rent, right? I mean, it's a lot of late fees, because we try to deter people from not being late, right? So all that kind of adds up. And you could see partial payment, partial payment, partial payment. And so now it's like, okay, it's the third month, it's January. We need to get you to pay the full amount. Like, what are we going to do in order to get you to pay the full amount? Or you're going to have to go to auction because we can't keep letting you do partial payments all the time, right? So that's kind of the mismanaged facilities, and that's physical versus economic occupancy. Okay, that's what it is. That's a potential. There was like, what's potential? Hang on, let me get some water. Okay, so and then you have the current valuation, right? Which is the as is. Right now, what is the value of this property? Okay. And that's like based on what you've made over the last 12 months. What's the value of this property? Okay. So that's kind of how, when you're looking at deal analysis, this is how you're looking at your property. Okay. And the opportunity is you can add units, right? So expansion opportunities, or you can increase the price. Okay. So, yeah, so these are the three ways that you look at the facility from a deal analysis point of view. Okay. So in our deal analyzer, you basically have like 3 different tabs where you can evaluate your property based on these 3 types of numbers. Okay. So I just want to make sure that that's like step 1, right? Because I'll ask my students, like, what is the as is value right now? And then what's your opportunity? Like, what can you increase the rent? What can you increase the rent to? Can you actually do that? Okay. Now, in order to in order to increase the prices, right? What do you have to do in order to be able to increase prices? Right? You have to do what's called a competitive analysis. Okay, competitive analysis. Okay. So now, on our deal analyzer, there is a tab where you actually you write in what the competitors are charging. All right, for the unit sizes. When you're looking at a competitor's price, you want to look apples to apples. Okay, so if you have in your facility 5 by 10s, 10 by 10s, 10 by 20s, and 10 by 30s, then you're looking at the competitors and seeing what they're charging for their units. Okay. And so that is called the competitive analysis. So this is a whole, like, this is a whole part of deal analysis is doing the competitive analysis because you want to know what is the current price per square foot. What is your potential, right? Price per square foot. And then what is your after updates price per square foot? Okay. Okay. Price per square foot. So you see how you're evaluating your property based on those three types of ways of looking at the property. Okay. Now, yeah. So now, but the thing is that you can't do a competitive analysis unless you know what the unit mix is that the property has. Okay. What's the actual unit mix? What's happening here? Something just got erased. Okay. All right. And so now number 3 is unit mix. Okay. So you have to get from the owners, from the broker, the actual unit mix. How many 5x5s? How many 5x10s? So you have the size, and then you have the price, right? Now, when you look at prices, you have to look at like what prices that they have. But the truth of the matter is, especially now, there's not just one price. Now, you may find a facility that has like, they're just across the board. Like I have a 10x10 and it's $50 a month. That's what it is, right? And like everybody's just $50. And back in the day, when we first started, like you saw more and more of this. Like there was not a lot of different prices, but now you have like, right, your standard price, and then you have your web price. You have your discounts, and you have your promos. I think my pen's going out, but right. So there's like all kinds of different prices too. So you want to make sure that you're analyzing and you're getting an average of what they're doing. Because like you'll look at the website and it'll say like a 10x10 is $100. And then you'll call in and be like, hey, I'm interested in getting a 10x10. And they'll say, oh yeah, great. We're having a promo right now. It's, $20 off. If you sign up right now, we'll give you $80 a month. Right? This happens all the time. And in fact, we do this, right? So you can't like just look at a website and then just get the price. Like you actually need to call and try to figure that out as well too when you're doing the competitive analysis. But you have to get all the sizes and then what they're charging and ask them like, are you typically at $100 a month for a 10x10, or are you doing any discounts right now or anything like that? When you talk to the owners or the brokers, like they'll tell you what they're doing, right? Or you'll get a rent roll, right? You get a rent roll. And you could get a rent roll. A lot of times you're asking for a rent roll. Now, if you go to Crexy or to LoopNet and you talk to a broker, I mean, most of the time they're going to have a rent roll. I would not say always, but definitely I would say most of the time. I'd say like 75% of the time they have a rent roll. But there are more and more facilities I've noticed on Crexy because we've made an offer. I mean, on Crexy, we've made offers to every facility on Crexy. So like I've just noticed that there's a lot of property on there where they don't even have rent rolls. If they don't have a rent roll, that's considered a mismanaged facility. Okay. Now, so you want to get the unit sizes. Okay. That's the next thing. And then you want to, and then from the unit sizes, right? So if they're saying they have a 10x10 and 10x20s, right? And they've got the number, they've got, 50 of these and 50 of these. Okay. Then, so now you're like, okay, this square footage is the total square footage, right? Because if you ask an owner, like, hey, how much square footage are you going to have? They're going to be like, yeah, I got 10,000 square feet, you know? But the truth of the matter is, based on their unit sizes, is really what it is. And a lot of the owners, that just give you like a roundabout number. And actually, I do this too. Like, somebody says, how much square footage you have? And I'm like, I don't know. I got like 100,000 or whatever, you know? So, like, because I don't even know. I honestly really have no idea what my total square footage is for any of my facilities at all. Right now, I could go into like our software and I can look, but if you don't have a software, then you have no idea. Or you have to get all the exact unit sizes, okay, and add that up to get the total square footage. Because the total square footage is like super duper 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 important. Okay. I mean, in the storage world, I mean, people don't say, oh, I've got, 100 doors. They say, I've got, 10,000 square feet, right? And, and then when you're running your deal analysis, you're looking at price per square foot. And the only thing, the only way you're going to get price per square foot, remember, is from what I just told you. Right? Is from your unit sizes and your competitor. All right. So you're looking at your unit sizes and then you're looking at what the owner is charging and you're also looking at what the competitor is charging because your ultimate goal is this after updates, right? Your goal of knowing deal analysis is knowing what the opportunity of this property is. Can I increase rates? Can I expand the property? All right. And so you can only figure that out if you look at your competitive analysis and you look at your unit mix size so that you can figure out what your price per square foot is, current, right? Potential, and after updates. And you can only figure this out, which is the most important part. Most important part is what I'm telling you right now in deal analysis. The most important is what is your price per square foot for these three types of valuations. And the only way you can figure that out is if you do that. So for everybody that's ever sent me an email and said, hey, is this a good deal? Nobody can know that unless I know this. And the only way you can know this is competitive analysis and unit mix analysis. All right. Peach? Okay. All right. Now that we got to that, okay, so then we go back to potential, right? Potential, physical, and economic occupancy. Okay. So, so this is what I talked about. Like, you may be looking at a mismanaged facility or you may be looking at an income producing property. Is it 80% or full or is it 80% or less full, right? So if it's typically less than 80%, it'd be considered mismanaged. 70 to 80% maybe a gray zone, but really, it's mismanaged if it's not at 80% occupied or more. And that really ranges on what is the price per square foot that they're charging right now and what's the possibility? Are they really at where they're at? And I'm going to tell you that we put at least 5 to 10 offers in a week on properties and rarely ever, I would say in the thousands of offers that we've put in the last couple of years, maybe a handful, 10 or 20, actually have their price per square foot equal to what it should be on the market value. Okay. Like they're always way lower. So there's always a potential to be able to increase that price per square foot. Right. And then your physical and economic occupancy, rarely ever do I see like that matching up as well too. There's always, units available. There's always, partial payments or delinquencies. And so this is a huge, big part of deal analysis. Okay. So you have to be able to look at both of those in order to figure out what you're going to offer. Notice in all of this right here, like I have not put purchase price in. The only way you figure out what your purchase price is if you know all of these things. That's it. Like somebody's going to tell you, yeah, I want to sell this thing for $1 million. It's like, I don't give a crap what you want to sell it for. Tell me these issues, tell me these parameters so that I can figure out what the value of your property is. Okay. So don't ever, ever, ever be scared by what somebody wants for a property. Do your own due diligence, do your own analysis, and just put in an offer that fits your parameters or the parameters of the deal analysis. And there's many, many times where we put the offer in and, and we're like, look, we want to create a win-win situation, but the truth is like what you want is really not achievable. I mean, and this is why, it's because I went through this entire process. Tell me what I'm doing wrong here, you know, and then we'll change the numbers, but it's really kind of an education thing, really, to the owners, and the realtors. I mean, a lot of times, unless you use a really big realtor, like if you're using a Marcus and Millichap or something like this, like they have like internal deal analysis. But like if this person is listing it on Crexy and they just went and got their cousin to like list it for them, I mean, the prices. So just ignore the price and just put your own offer in. Okay, so potential versus physical, right? Occupancy, super important. Okay, what else is there? And then, okay, so the next thing that you have to know in order to run deal analysis is financial terms, financial inputs. Okay? Okay. You have to know how you're going to pay for this property. You have to know the numbers, the inputs of where you're going to get the money from. If you do not know where you're going to get the money from and the parameters or terms of that institution or person or whatever it is, then you cannot run deal analysis. Okay, you can't just like put an offer in and like hope that you find the money for the numbers or whatever. You just got to know. So what does that mean? If you want to run deal analysis, you need to know what your terms are going to be. You need to know if you can't afford, if you can't afford so much, you need to go find a bank that will be able to lend, and what are the terms of that bank so you can run analysis. We have like cash, and then we have bank financing on our deal analysis. Okay, financing. And then we have like private money lender financing. And then we have seller financing. Or other creative structures like, a wrap or a carryback. Okay. So like if you want to get the deal financed, you need to be talking to these people in order to know what the terms are so you can plug the terms in. Okay. So like if you go to a local bank versus the nationwide bank, your terms are going to be like totally different. All right. Or even a hard money lender. Okay. Like your terms are going to be different. So you have to be able to plug those numbers in so you can run the numbers based on all the other inputs that we're putting in. Okay. And if you're going to go and get a private lender, I didn't put this in. If you're going to get a private lender like debt Or if you're going to do like a partnership, then you need to be able to plug those numbers, whatever the terms are going to be, so that you can run the numbers. Okay. All right. So financing inputs is like a huge part of it. And the financing inputs also includes like, what is your cash, right? What's your ROI? Okay. What's your mortgage payment going to be? So in order to figure all this out, you have to you have to have the terms. Okay. All right. Okay. So financing inputs. And then after you do the financing inputs, you can come up with your purchase price. Okay. So don't worry about the purchase price until you have all this information inside as well. Okay. Inside the deal analysis, and you're looking at it that way. And oh yeah, and then also another thing that you need to see, where can we put that at? I'll just put it here actually. See terms. Actually, I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, yeah. So here, okay, what's really important is what we call the market cap rate. Okay. Right? The market cap rate, every market is it's like different, but it's kind of the same. So we have, remember, I've taught this like over and over again, where you've got primary. We'll go over this in depth in the boot camp as well. And it's also inside the course if you want to do the course. Primary, secondary, and tertiary. So depending on where the location of the property is really based on what your cap rate is. Okay, so you have to depend, and then once you figure out your cap rate, then you can look at your different of that. You can do your different valuations. Okay, so that's important too. Is it primary, secondary, tertiary? And and also what a market cap rate is really important when it comes to the financing part as well too. So we'll put that here just so everybody knows. This is also market cap rate. Right. So because like if you're going to get bank financing, your cap rate is going to be different than if you're going to get like seller financing stuff. Okay, so it's important to do that. But that's all explained and done in the deal analysis, and we will talk about that also in the boot camp as well too. But I just wanted to give you an idea real fast of just how the deal analysis works. Overall, how are you looking at the property? And these are all the things. If you forget anything, I can't remember honestly, but these are all the things that we input into our deal analyzer so that we can look at the overall picture. Okay. And hopefully you guys are doing the same thing as well too, and really learning how to do this. Is commercial deal analysis. Really, it's warehouse deal analysis because storage facilities are classified as warehouses, industrial warehouse, and that's how it is. It's price per square foot. Where am I at right now, and where can I get to? And ultimately, you figure that out, and then you can come up with your purchase price. Okay. All right. I saw a couple of questions, so I'm going to answer those before the time is up because I do have to jump off into another meeting. Let me see. Yeah, let me see. Okay. All right, good. Well, I appreciate, so Nick, I see you here. Jennifer's here, and Leslie and Brenda. I appreciate you guys all hopping on listening. And I'd like to attend your boot camp. I already have your course. Yes. So I was going to say this too. If you bought the course over the holidays, because I did whole big huge sales and stuff, there are no more sales, right? But there is the boot camp. Highly recommend you go through the course and then you come to the boot camp. With both of those, I'm going to tell you for 2024, you'll be rocking and rolling because that's going to give you the boost to be able to get out there and look for facilities. Okay, so highly recommend that. And then, yeah, just go to the boot camp page. Or go to stacyrossetti.com and click on boot camp, and then you can just sign up for that as well. Okay. It's on the 27th and the 28th is when it's at. Okay. Okay, if you were to live your life again and become a self-storage newbie, would you begin your journey exactly the way you did, or would you have started a larger facility? I would not change a thing on what I did. So my personality is actually, let me see here. And this is something that's in our house, ingrained in our house, is slow and steady wins the race. Okay. That's really honestly, I mean, me and Pete, this is our personality. And this is actually how Lillian is, my daughter. And I know it seems like I do a lot and I'm like super fast in everything I do, but like, we've been investing in real estate since like 2010, right? And so, this is like 13 years in the making. Okay, so and it was so funny because we watched like my daughter and I were watching like Facebook the other day, and this video came on, and it was like a reel or whatever, and there was a girl that was kind of in her 20s, and she had this drawing of like she had her like one of her very first drawings that she did, and it said like 6 years ago, this is how I used to draw. And then she ripped the page in half, and then she started like drawing the other half of this face that she had, and it was like amazing. I mean, she just like was drawing like the most beautiful artwork, and then she took off the page, and she was like, you could see like on the old face and then the new face, and it was like amazing. And the truth is that's exactly how we are. That's exactly how me and Pete are. 6 years ago, we didn't really have any idea what we're doing. We bought one facility our first year, one facility our second year, and then it started to really click for us. Okay. And it started to get really good. We started buying a lot of storage facilities. So I make it seem like it's super easy, but the truth is it's like slow and steady wins the race. Okay. Um, and there is nothing, I say this all the time, there is nothing wrong with buying smaller facilities. Okay. Doesn't matter if you can afford a couple $100,000 or a couple $1 million. Just buy what you can afford and get your foot into the door. So I have a student, Rick, who he's a CPA, and he works like 60 hours a week. And he wants to like not work 60 hours a week. Right. So he got into the coaching program, and he was like, look, he's like, he makes a lot of money, but he works his butt off. And so he was like, I want to get into storage. I just really want it to be passive. And I said, okay, well, you got to buy like $2 million plus, 1.5 million, $2 million plus properties so that you can hand this property off to a third party management company and they can manage it for you. And so he got into the coaching program. Within a month, he had a storage facility under contract, and he just closed on it on the 2nd of January. And he's been in the program now. It took a long time to close the facility. It took like 5 months, but he finally closed on the facility, and he hired a third party management company to manage it. And they did thing. And he's like, I'm ready to buy the next one, Stacy. I can close on another one. And so there's people that are like that. And then there's people like Linda, she's another student of ours. And she just picked up a facility in Texas that was like it's like 10. She got a great price. Oh my God. It was 10,000 square feet for like $250,000 or something, or maybe 300,000. I can't remember, but she got the owner to sell her finance it. And so she closed like within 60 days, she closed on the property. And it's like a little tiny facility in a small town in the middle of nowhere. And this is her facility to like get her feet wet and just to figure it out and stuff. And she's doing an amazing job, super coachable. And so there's people like that as well too. There's whatever is the best fit for you is what you should be doing. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer to getting into this industry. Okay? All right. Have I heard of Store Track? No, I haven't. I have no idea. I'll check it out. See, I don't know anything about Store Track, so I'll check it out. The potential is remember I said it's for mismanaged facilities. It's really taking a facility from 25,000, sorry, 25% to 80% or 90%, 50%. And potential is, what is the potential of the property? How can I get this thing full? Okay. Leslie is asking what the average price per square foot to expand is. No idea. I have no idea because every place is different. So just get a whole bunch of quotes, right? Uh, and also still goes up and down. I mean, it's very variable. It really is. I mean, I can't just give you a number. You can do a deal analysis on it. You just know. All right. Is there a resource that shows the cap rate of a specific market? Another human? No. I mean, honestly, there's not. You can look at you can look at sold with Crexy. That's another thing is with Crexy, you can look at like what the sold properties are going for. And then, maybe and like, but no, there's not really. So the truth is that you just need to try to do as high of a cap rate as you can. Like I talked to a student the other day, he was like, I'm getting 10% cap rate. And I'm like, you're never gonna get a deal. You want 10% cap rate. You're never gonna buy a deal. All right, we try to stick to like 7% cap rate. That's a good number for us, 7 or 8, whether it's primary, secondary, or tertiary. But like, if you want, like people really want steals of a deal. And the truth of the matter is there ain't no steals of a deal anymore. That's gone. You guys passed that. Should have gotten into storage like 5 years ago. All my properties in the first 12 facilities I bought, they steals of a deal. But now you got to just be reasonable. It's just like all the other properties out there. Okay. And then Lee is saying she wants to invest. You should invest. Lending is one of the best ways to get into self-storage. I have all these funds and all these people put all this money into all these funds, and then they just sit there and watch me do all the work, and they get to learn how to do it along the way. I mean, lending is, they just get a paycheck every month. Lending is the best way. The best way. And we are starting to lend out as well too, with money into funds and stuff like this. Ultimately, our goal is going to be to invest in other people's properties. Now, turnkey acquisitions for us in Storage Nerds is really kind of the first step for me for that. So I partner with my students. And that's really something that I want to do more of is partner with my students. And that's the same concept. It's the same concept. Investing in other people's deals is a great way to do it. Okay, let's see what else. With respect to the facility size, do you think that a facility size between 40 and 60 would be a good start to a first facility? Yes. Yes. This is a great start. Affordable property, so yes, be a great way to get started for sure. Definitely for sure. Whatever you can afford is the perfect size. If it's 10, 20, 50, 100, the more money, the bigger the facility, the more money you make. And it takes the same amount of work for all of the facilities. But who gives a crap? Just get started. Move on. Yeah, we started with 50 units and now we're buying 500 units. We're going to build 1,000 units. All right. I appreciate it. Time's up. I got to move on. But I will see you guys at the next session. All right. And hopefully at the boot camp as well. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.